Hello, it's Friday the 2nd of July 2021 and I'm here in Sheffield city centre, or at least on the edge of it, and I've come to have a look at the latest grey to green suds planting. Now this was planted out this winter, so this is the latest scheme, and I'm going to walk down there and have a look, because it is looking really good at the moment. It's very much kind of prairie planting with some trees interspersed, but most things look to be pretty healthy. So let's go down here. There's still some work going on some of the roads. Some of the tarmacking, I think, is still not quite done. So there's a little bit of road works around, but the planting does look very impressive. And even Park Square roundabout itself, even the roundabout now has matured so well. The trees are really mature. All the shrubbery that was planted, 30, maybe 40 years ago, has really come on well. Absolutely full of bees. I've seen the odd butterfly skirting around. As I said, we are on the edge of the city centre here, so it's a very urban environment. But the planting is just absolutely fantastic. Campanulas there, geraniums, silver birch, mountain ash mainly there on this bit. So I've shot videos of at least one of them, maybe more, I can't remember, of the first suds scheme, grey to green scheme up at Shales Moor. This is further down the hill, kind of more in the valley bottom. So there's obviously some more summer planting to come up there. There seems to be quite a few grasses. You can see there how there's a kind of concrete pipe work that obviously will come from elsewhere in this system and kind of fill this area up. So this will hold some kind of a certain amount of flood water. But I'm loving the colours, the achilleas, and of course the maintenance is minimal. It maybe just needs tidying up once a year, and that's all you need to do. So we're down near the canal. This is Sheffield Canal Basin, Victoria Quays. So Sheffield and Tinsley Canal is just behind there. These asters are fantastic. Be on that. Absolutely. Look at the grey, look at that, and how that just goes so well with that. That's just stunning. And then that lovely lemon achillea, and then it's a bit more orange as it goes over there. It's quite cloudy today. It's overcast, but it's very warm, very humid. Absolutely beautiful. And then this side you've got more grasses. So I think the idea is with these grasses is that you've got the road there, so any traffic that's going through there, and this area is pretty much traffic calmed anyway. kind of limited access through there, so there's not a lot of traffic going through here. But what traffic does go through, obviously you've got these grasses which should absorb some carbon dioxide, some of the pollutants, before you actually breathe them in. Salvia, more achillea. It's lovely, lovely grass. And then that's the area for development at Castlegate, which is they've just got planning for. We'll go over there and have a look at that soon. But we'll stay over here for the time being. I mean, there's a lot more to come. I mean, I could come back here in another 2 or 3 weeks' time, and you're going to see a lot more stuff out. But already it's such a fantastic, colour palette. It really is quite stunning, even without the sun being out. Look at this purple. Against that yellow and this really strong magenta pink. It's absolutely superb. And then you've got the odd tree and shrub kind of interspersed. I think the fence is temporary to stop people from just walking straight across here, so it makes people go towards where they should go to cross. So you can imagine some people will just trample across and then it all gets trampled down, but this is fantastic. So you can see here how in the pavement, ideally with the camber on the road, the water should just run off the road and run into this area here. Same there, there's another one there. So obviously water running down there will do that into that one, and I'd say any water there might run into this one, although it looks like it still goes down the hill that way, so maybe, the point is there are various points cut into the curb that allow water to access into the planting, into the sud scheme. So that's fantastic. Try not to get knocked down. And I mean, the soil, reading up about this scheme, there's virtually no soil in there, except for areas where they've put in a shrub or a tree. They've given it some more, substantial soil. But for a lot of these plants, they're basically planted in rubble. It's really low nutrient. Topsoil, but look how they are responding. Just look at that. The asters there, fantastic. Absolutely superb. Helianthemum there. That's quite early, that, unless it's it's probably because it's a species variety, maybe, not sure. They decided to plant liquid amber. They could have maybe planted something that's maybe a little bit better for nature, but they seem to do well in an urban environment. You've got a load of silver birch here. And they do provide fantastic colour in autumn, liquid ambers. Look at that. Popping scarlet, bright scarlet and bright magenta. But it's just a huge amount of bees and insects just buzzing around that wouldn't be here otherwise. So that alone makes it a success. So let's. So the River Don is just over this this wall here. So just get across this mini roundabout. Rivers Cafe and Bar. Greater Green has created 1.3 kilometres. Oh, a lovely white butterfly there. Absolutely loving it. Greater Green has created 1.3 kilometres of new footpaths and cycleways. It's transformed a tarmacked area into a green public space that encourages cycling and walking. Just look at that. Colour on that. Nifofia there. Seeds already on this. This was one of those, I can't remember what they call them, spring flowering lily kind of things. So this is the area that's going to be redeveloped at Castlegate. So that obviously looks a bit of a mess at the moment, but they are deculverting the River Sheaf, which flows under there and joins with the River Don. The Two Rivers Cafe Bar, just here. You can't see it, but under here is where the River Sheaf comes out, and this is the River Don, which comes from up there and flows down the Lower Don Valley that way. So there's going to be a new park there, a waterside park, etc. So yeah, Greater Green plays a part in recovering nature in Sheffield, creating a place where a diversity of insects can feed and support the wider food chain by providing food for a range of birds and bats. Look out for the bug hotels. So yeah, so apparently this is going to be expanded really throughout the city centre. So as I say, we're on the kind of east end of the city centre. The city centre mainly is kind of up there, the centre of the city centre. And apparently this is going to be extended up there into certain areas which look promising, certainly for wildlife. I do have concerns that if they don't get it right, they will be spending they will be turning too much into a green environment and maybe not concentrating enough on the economic recovery of the city centre. It's a fine balance, and Sheffield city centre is very much on the wane at the moment. John Lewis is closed, not going to be back open. Debenhams have gone. It's really a shadow of its former self, and unless you find ways of attracting people back en masse, not just the odd environmentalist like myself, the odd kind of person who likes wildlife like me, but people who, as wide a range of people as possible back to the city centre, it's going to die a slow death, unfortunately. But anyhow, I don't want to get too negative at the moment. So this used to be a road that was open to traffic, and now that traffic's been diverted to that other road over there, over that bridge. Sheffield was built on rivers. Greater Green's innovative drainage system reconnects this part of the city with them, flowing rainwater back to rivers in a way that mimics nature cleanly, slowly and sustainably. So yeah, and the colour of that is just fantastic. They've kept these mature trees, which is good. Are they hornbeams? I think they're hornbeams. So that's where the Castle Market used to be. This used to be the marketplace, the historic marketplace. But in the council's wisdom, which I think was a very foolish move, they moved it down to the moor, and it's pale shadow of its former self down at the mall. I was no fan of the very modern and brutalist Sheaf and Castle Market. It was very much a kind of druggies paradise area and really did need sweeping away. But what you needed is a market similar to something like they have in Leeds. And I think I have a video on my YouTube channel. I don't know if I did shoot a video. I think I took some photos of Leeds Market, which is an absolutely stunning, beautiful Victorian ornate market. And ideally they should have preserved the old market, the markets that used to be down here. But again, I'm being negative, and I don't want to be negative at the moment because this is just fantastic. But it's the reason why my channel is called Improve Sheffield, because I'm willing to give plaudits when you see something brilliant that's happening in the city, such as this, which everybody kind of applauds and everybody can get behind. I've not heard a bad word said about it. I mean, what kind of bad word could you have said about this? It's just absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant. But likewise, when you can see that things aren't improvement, that change is happening, but it's happening in a negative way, and yet it's being hyped up as being a positive change, then people aren't stupid, whether they know it consciously or whether it's just something that happens subconsciously. People know and they understand that, and they vote with their feet. And again, I think I made a short video in Liverpool about Liverpool's waterfront being a complete mess, a complete mishmash. Absolutely fantastic. So you should see how it dips down there. You see how, all the runoff from this hard standing can go and sit in that area there in times of flood. But then because the kind of ground is basically just, 6 inches, 8 inches, 12 inches of gravel under there, it'll just kind of drain away. This is a very shady area. This is kind of, I think, almost north facing. It doesn't really get much sun, so they've put some climbing hydrangea up there, which should be fantastic in a few years. When that's climbed up there, and in autumn, you get these, you can just see it beginning to flower now, you get these lovely little white bracts. But in autumn, the foliage is a beautiful yellow, so that's going to look stunning once it's climbing up this very brutalist concrete wall. Look at this. It's got a bit of sun coming out. Got a shadow. Me and my shadow. I love how these grasses are repeated. It's absolutely fantastic. It gives it such a strong three-dimensional effect. You can see how you saw some seeds just blowing in the slight breeze there. It's just so, these can obviously self-seed themselves. Seed themselves in this gravel. It's just fantastic. This is low maintenance planting at its finest. The plants are cut back each autumn, but otherwise they grow and thrive contentedly on their own. Greater Green, Phase 2, Castlegate and Exchange Street. And then there's the odd raised one here. So you see those beds there were kind of sunken, whereas this one's raised so people can kind of sit, although you've got kind of skateboarders that have been going on here. but this looks really hard wearing stone, which is good. Hopefully vandal proof. I have zero tolerance of vandalism, because once that sets in, people go. They don't want to know, and rightly so. So again, you see how this dips down there. And there's your little bug hotel in that kind of rusty metal, I don't know what you call it, cage or something. So again, you see you've got this gap in this concrete wall, so the water that runs, see how the road's a bit higher there, so the water that runs into this bed will maybe get up to a level, and then it will overflow through that little gap there into this bed, and then eventually drain down into the river. So I love these. I think these are foxtail lilies. I think that's what they're called. Absolutely fantastic. Look at the bee on that one. I think the foxtail lilies. And again, here you've got a gap in that concrete wall somewhere there, so the water would run down from the high point, run into here and fill this one up, then it would go into this channel, through there into that one, and so on. So you just get this continuation of water being moved along in a sustainable way until it naturally drains away into the river. Urban greening plays a big part in cooling our warming city and helps create a happy place for us to live and work. Certainly does. Don't you just want to live and work down here when you see this? That one's just coming out. Look at this. These are different lilies, aren't they? Is this a different lily? Is this a lily as well? Is it an arum lily? I don't know. Anybody who's watching this, if you want to make a comment, and if you know the name of that, because that's obviously just about to start flowering as these, what I think are foxtail lilies, are finishing. Look at that, it's fantastic. Another bug hotel there. And again, you've got the same thing here. So, once again, the water will run down. So you've got another bed there, but the water can run down the hill and run into these channels, into this bed. Right, sit in this bed, and if it fills up, if we have a lot of rain, storms, and then it fills this area up, flows into this area, and there's another one there, flows into this area, and eventually once it's coming to this area, if it rises above the lip of that grate there, then it flows into there. So yeah, fantastic. It's nice bright seating for people to sit on and being well used. Look at these salvias, absolutely stunning. So beautiful. So beautiful. This looks like some kind of false nettle. I wonder if it's a salvia of some kind. It's probably a salvia. Flowers look like a salvia, so that's just about to come out as the other blue salvias are finishing. And here we have, I think we have some, I love these trees, I think these are kind of what do you call them? The Canadian maples that I think turn really scarlet red in autumn. Is it Acer Red October? Something like that. Absolutely stunning autumn colours. But again, we just look across there to the terminal warehouse. It's just absolutely, what a pleasant environment. Those are flats there, people live in those, so they've got a lovely view now. I mean, obviously that's going to be redeveloped at some point, so it's not particularly attractive at the moment, but this planting is just fantastic. I mean, if they want to sell their flat now, this is going to increase the value of their property as well. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. The problem that I have is that if you repeat this in other areas where it's vital that people get access, so therefore they can't get easy access to the city centre for whatever reason, whether it's shopping, leisure, work, whatever, then that might be an issue that will have to be carefully worked out. Some Nepeta there as well. So we're pretty much back to where we started at Castle Square. I'm glad to see all those maples are looking fantastic. I shall have to come back kind of late October to have a look at those. And then there's just a little bit over here, which I might as well just go and have a look at. 27 minutes, then this video is about 30 minutes long. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. So that way up to Castlegate in the city centre. And that's where we started, just up at the top there on that walkway over there. So 28, nearly 29 minutes past I'm going to leave that for now. What an absolute stunning sight that is. Bye for now.